Hello and welcome to episode number 30 of Women Who Lead. And I'm so happy to see all of you who have joined the show today as we continue to celebrate Hispanic Heritage Month. And this week, we're going to be highlighting members of the Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Top 5% Club. Coming out of the heels of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices Summit, these top Latinas were among the exclusive list of top producers who were invited to attend based on their hard work, production, and the volume they achieved in 2020. Now we're coming out of the heels of our summit. So tell me of a takeaway that you had through that experience that you can share that you're going to implement either now or in 2022. And I'm going to start with you, Agustina, then Jennifer, and then Grace.
So I learned from Alan Dalton. He said, be a marketing agent, don't be a listing agent. I think that's something that is so important because a lot of time you go to somebody's house and an agent is been there and they're so worried about, this is the price that didn't sell the house. But my take on that is, be a marketing agent, market the house. If you do the proper marketing for a house, it's going to sell. So that's one thing.
I think that's a great one, right? It's a marketing proposal. It's a collaboration between you and that home seller on getting that home sold. And so I love that. That's great. What adventures or what is the best experience that you've had, when you've had, because we know this business can be very challenging, but it's also very rewarding. So what has been the most memorable experience that you have had with your clients or in the real estate business?
So I have been lucky and blessed that I had wonderful clients and customers in my career. But one that I remember is when I sold Gene Simmons' house, Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. So it's very funny because I didn't know who Gene Simmons was. So one day I'm going to my office meeting and I see there is a house that they're taking a lot of garbage out. And I see, looks like those people are going to sell. So I stop by the house and I knock on the door and the person that was there cleaning up answered the door. And I said, who's the owner? He says, well, I'm just the cleaning person, but you know the owner. And I said, I do. He says, yes, you do. And I said, who is that? He says, Gene Simmons. And I was like, Gene Simmons? Oh, okay. Can I have his number? So he's like, well, I can't give you his number because he's very private, but I can give you his email and you can reach out to him. I said, oh, that's great. Thank you. So I continue going to my office meeting, and Emmett happened to be the one that was giving the meeting. So I get there a little late and I said, I'm sorry, but I saw a house and I stopped and, they said that I know the guy who owns it. He says, Gene Simmons, who's that? So Emmett's like, what? Gene Simmons from Kiss? And I was like, yeah, that's what he said. He's like, you don't know who Gene Simmons is? I'm like, no. So Emmett said, okay, don't worry. So as soon as we finished the meeting, he says, we're going to reach out to him. I said, I got his email. So Emma and I reached out to him. Of course, he knows Berkshire Hathaway very well. So he was pleased. And he says, of course, I would love to talk to you guys. I'm going to be on tour in New York City. So I'm going to let you know so we can meet. And of course, he let us know. We met him in the city. And he gave me the listing. He was wonderful. And he only asked me one question. He says, I don't want anybody to know this was my mother's house. I want them to buy it because they want a beautiful house and a great place to raise their family, not because I'm famous. The memory of my mother means so much to me that, I'm happy to give it to you, but that's all I ask from you. And I said, of course, no problem. He was wonderful. He invited me to his concert, and throughout the whole transaction, I always dealt with him, not with his attorney. So the offer that came in was to be presented to him. And one thing that I learned from him was that he said, the only thing, Agustina, when I email you, I expect an answer right away, because in business, when you reach out to somebody, you shouldn't take more than 2 minutes to get back to the person. Even if it is to say, I'm busy, I'll get back to you. I just want that respect. And I was like, wow, that's great. And I listed and sold his mother's house, and he was very happy. And that's something that, very memorable to me.
What a memorable experience.
Here I am.
We were just talking about
woman.
Gene Simmons. I don't know if you heard me, that I dressed up as Gene Simmons for Halloween.
Oh, wow.
Because I absolutely love him and love kids. I would have gone, oh my God. But here's what I love about what you just shared with the audience. Number one, you took note that someone was emptying out a house. Cha-ching. I mean, right away, you're like, this person may be moving. There's that is the number one thing. All of you out there in the audience, really, that's a great advice, right? Took note of that and knocked on the door and said, hey, I would love to know, are you considering moving? And found out a lead based on your door knocking one-on-one and making sure you captured that. So that's fantastic. I love that. I love it. So let's talk about mentorship, because you talked a little bit about that, having a mentor, I think Agustina, right? And how important that was. So do you have a coach or a mentor that you've, had in the past and who has given you inspiration, and what differences has that made in your business? I'm just going to starting with you, and then Grace, and then also Jennifer.
So when I started the business, I was not with the same I was not with the same company that I'm with now. My manager, CEO, and the company, they're amazing. You can call them on Sunday at 10 o'clock at night or a Saturday at 9 o'clock in the morning, and Emmett, our CEO, will always answer. We'll help you with anything you need. It's always there for you. Everybody is wonderful. But when I started the business, I didn't know too much. So I used to go to classes, and I met Joe Meyer, which is an international speaker. And I came up to him after a section, and I said, I would like to come and see you, once a week at least. He says, Agustina, I am so busy, but you know what? You seem like you want to learn. So I'm going to make time for you. And we're going to figure out a schedule, and I'm going to give you an hour a week so you can come and meet with me. And that was very helpful because I didn't know much in the business. I started. I did very well in my first year, thank God, just because, business is business, and I come from business, and I love business, and I love people, and I love helping people. So I did very well. I think people can read that. When you are honest and you really want to help them, they can see that and they can read it. But one of the biggest things that he told me was, he says, you know what, just be yourself. You just be yourself, no matter what, be yourself, and you're going to be successful. So that's one thing that I always remember that he said to me.
Love it.